You're listening to Stories to Create with your host, Cornell Bunting. Author, motivational speaker, and founder of ES Each Episode. Cornell sits down with inspiring voices to uncover the stories that shape who we are and who we're becoming. Get ready to listen, learn, and be inspired. The show starts now.
He's good. Yes. Welcome to another episode of Stories to Create podcast. Right here, a little bit different. Today, we're highlighting the version called the juice. Listen, we getting in, and of course, we have a brother here today that I'm telling you guys, some would call him the visionary. You know, as others would say, he's innovative. He is an emergent strategist, some would put it. And when I tell you my brother has a whole lot of talent, wealth of knowledge, so you guys are in for a treat today. So, without further ado, Mr. Jason Teeter. My brother. Yeah, man.
I was worried. You said some would say. And I was like, okay, let's stay on the positives, as some people would say.
Well, you know, I would never think that people would have anything bad to say about Jason, bro, because you like that guy. You that guy, and when you see him, the first thing you get in is that smile. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Thank you.
For the listeners, because you got to tell them, bro, like, what does that look like in the morning? You get up just before the day starts. What does that even look like? Like, you know what? This is a typical Jason day where, you know what? I'm going to do some great things today, but before I do that, this is what that looks like.
Man, I think like everything else, I have to put on the smile. And so the way that I put on that smile is I got to get up and do something for myself, whether it be read, meditate, work out. Like I have to invest in myself in the morning. And then after that, it allows for me to put that smile on because, you know, I've filled my cup.
Yeah.
And now I'm ready to walk into the day with possibilities.
I like that. I like that, man. Now, because, you know, you look like a brother that does the coffee, but is there any morning where you get up and do the tea as well?
Yes.
I
get to spend some, last year I got to spend about 30 days in Africa.
Okay.
And one of the things that I sort of took on was tea.
Ooh.
So I had some really good tea out of Rwanda, and I took some packages with me. And so for the next 25 days, I became the tea guy, and I loved it. You know,
this is beautiful, man. So, you know, for a lot of our listeners, you know, because we like to treat them to the tail. You know, we want to create what that story looked like about Jason. And for a lot of people that don't know you, man, you know, where were you born? Like, you know, where'd you grow up?
Yeah, so born in Indianapolis, Indiana.
Okay.
Families all around Indianapolis. And then as my dad got a great opportunity to transfer to a new position at work, I moved to a smaller town called Yorktown, which is right outside of Muncie, Indiana, where Ball State's from. And so spent my youth there.
So I got to ask you, man, because like, you know, in school, because you have this like not so much of you have like an Abu Dhabi type of look. Like you could look like one of those guys that come from that. What would you say that the tie-ins are with the different culture from the family background?
Yeah. So, it's interesting. I think most of my life, right, when I go get haircuts, my barbers be like, "Oh man, your hair is really funny, right? Like, you know, I got a laser really weird. It took me forever, right?
Yeah,
couldn't get the waves like other kids. I get so upset about that. Or I would travel somewhere and I would say I'm from America, and people would be like, "Nah, no, you're not, man."
Yeah,
right. Yeah. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
I get some people said Dominican when I wouldn't open my mouth, they just look. And when I grow my hair out, it gets really curly.
Right.
But I did find out that I'm about 70% West African, with about 30% of that being Nigerian.
That's amazing.
Igbo. So,
Igbo.
Yeah.
Ooh. Igbo with the good ear, too. he got the hair, man. So, like when we dive into like the school stuff, like from the primary school to the high school to college, what was that journey like?
Look, I think it's a journey that all of us, all of our listeners, everybody that's ever been a part of that is one of trauma and warfare.
Yeah,
it feels like, right? Because
we're
trying to figure out who we are,
right?
As youth, we're trying to navigate our family situation. We're trying to navigate the school situation, and for me, I think it's one of many stories, but. I was 25% of the Black population in my school system.
Wow, yeah, wow.
Right?
Yeah.
And so there was actually 3 families and one other group that he was adopted.
Yeah.
And so of the 4 of us in the whole entire school system,
wow,
we would, and it was a complete system. So from elementary, middle to high school, I grew up with all those individuals.
Oh, that's amazing.
So
man.
It was that experience, but I think coming in around 2nd grade, 3rd grade is when I first started going there.
Yeah.
It was one of protection.
Right.
I think my biggest superpower comes from my biggest fear.
Right.
And so I knew that being a Black child that stood out into a predominantly white school,
right,
that it's easy to find people to pick on you.
Right.
And so for me, if I could get to know you,
right,
and cozy up, well, then guess what? We're not looking at me.
Right.
Somebody else.
You've eliminated that already.
Yeah. So I think my ability to connect with people came from my need to protect myself.
Right.
All the way up through high school. Right.
Right.
And then as athletics started to come in, I started to realize that I could be a leader.
Right.
And being a leader and understanding the connection of the lifestyle of my teammates, I was able to find ways to motivate.
Right.
Using things that were clear to them.
Would you say you role let's say on the football field or whatever, would you say your role kind of put you in that headspace to know you want to encourage your teammates? And then that kind of just gave you this fire to just want to always, we gonna do this today. Yeah.
I think I grew up in a really beautiful era of toxic positivity, right? Watching all those shows, Rocky and Rambo. So my whole life I felt like I was meant for a purpose.
Right.
And whenever I dreamed of something, and I put action towards it came true, right? And so for me, I remember I went to a friend of mine in 8th grade took me to a college football game, Notre Dame versus Army, and it was my first time on a college campus. I hated school, so I really didn't want to go to school after school.
Right.
But I saw that first football game, and I was like, I'm playing college football.
Ooh.
And I came back, and people thought I was freaks. I was doing everything to try to get ready for football. And so once I had that set in my head, everything that I was working towards was motivated around how do I put myself in the best position for that.
That's beautiful, man. Wow. It's crazy you mentioned, the movies in that time, because I just saw an interview with Arnold Schwarzenegger, and he was telling us how competitive he was against Sylvester Stallone.
Making those movies. Yeah, they were popping out left and right.
They were, but he was
Schwarzenegger, Rambo.
Right. It was who could pull up with the biggest guns? And I didn't realize that was it was a competition. If you was to say to anyone, which one would have been your go-to movie? Let's say Commander was popping off. Rambo was popping off.
That was the one with Schwarzenegger. Oh, I remember that one.
Yeah. Listen, it was wild. But did you even realize that they were competing like that back then when those movies were dropping?
I don't think I realized, but I did find it odd when they started opening up those Planet Hollywoods.
Right.
I was like, oh, they know each other? They're friends?
Yeah.
It was them, and then who else? Die Hard is Bruce Willis. And I was like, these guys just got to be fighting every place they go.
Right. Man, now you being in like the sport the way you was and the energy you were bringing to what that looked like. What was the conversations like with your parents? Like, even wanting to make sure that they're at your games and stuff like that.
Look, I'm super privileged, right? My parents have just celebrated 50 years of marriage, right?
Amazing.
I already know without a doubt having that same consistent support throughout my lifetime was huge.
Yeah.
But my parents were really good at creating the conditions for me to make the choices.
Right.
Like they never went to college.
Right.
And so the fact that I was getting letters and emails of people wanting me to go play college sports right. Like my dad made it real clear, like at the end of the day, this is your decision.
Yeah.
And I'm here to help you. And I think even though it didn't feel like it at the time,
right.
They not only had my back, but they were in my corner.
Right.
And so that was a really interesting experience. To have that now when I think about it.
Right.
They were at all my games, which now as a parent, I recognize the challenge of doing that.
Right.
But at the same time, they weren't in it, meaning they weren't caught up in my son's going to play this or my kid is the best and like all these things. And so, after playing high school, playing college, coaching high school football, and coaching high school sports, I get a real clear sense how often parents may be the biggest downfalls to their kids' success.
That's true. Yeah.
Because they're wanting them to carry out whatever dreams that they couldn't carry out.
They couldn't carry out, yeah. And I've heard that in a lot of different individuals. So
But I'm also really clear that I'm contradicting myself because my son just started playing sports.
Oh my God. And you letting everybody know.
Well, no, but I'm like, yeah, you got that from me. Yeah, keep doing that. No, son, you got to do it. And I'm like, yo, I got to take a step back.
That is amazing, man. And, I got to tell you, man, for a lot of people, as you guys start to uncover this brother here, man, you guys will see that he does a wonderful job with work life, family life, what that look like. You are very present with your kids, man, and that is a beautiful thing for a lot of people that, get busy like that because they're like, yo, we almost busy the same, and I'm not able to do that. What would you say to them, man?
I mean, I think it's intentionality and priorities.
I like that.
Right? At the end of the day. And I think we've been told a story of success that's outdated.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
and for me, at the end of the day, I know that the things that I want to bring to the world are going to outlive me.
Oh, definitely.
And so if that's the case, I want to make sure that every moment I get, I can show up and be present with my children.
Man, that's amazing.
Because at the end of the day, that's what they're going to. Right, I don't want them to remember, oh, Dad was busting his ass and he couldn't come to things or he couldn't do things. Or if he was with me, he's on his phone because he's trying to work other things. And I think we see this now with a lot of, in the work that I do when I'm working with leaders, is this busyness as a badge of courage.
Right.
And to me, that does nobody any good, right? It doesn't do your organization any good because you're limited in your innovation and creativity because you're constantly on. Right. And when you do have an opportunity to break that, because you're constantly on, you're not dropping into the space where oftentimes I'll come up with some of my best designs and ideas when I'm playing with my son or my daughter, when I'm coloring, all of a sudden it's like, oh, I allowed my brain. And like, to me, that's how you replenish yourself.
Yeah. I definitely can agree with that, man. So, that's a beautiful way to even roll that out for a lot of individuals to understand. One of the things I want to ask you, because I feel like your answer to this could be very interesting, with a lot of different, and if we was to go back, because I was trying to think back on, when that whole thing with the knee in the neck with Floyd happened, to where we heading now, like, because people still fear getting pulled over by a cop, not necessarily knowing what is going to happen. But then on the other side, people are saying, well, they have procedures they have to follow, which is the reason why they behave the way they are. You feel like on both sides they're making adjustments to present what that situation look like whenever, let's say, someone interact with a cop, whether they're speeding or not or whatever that looks like.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Every young person carries a story of hope, of struggle, of dreams waiting to rise. But in too many underserved communities, those stories go unheard.
At ease, Inc. Everyone has a story. We believe every voice deserves a chance through mentorship, empowering programs and storytelling workshops. We help youth discover their purpose, strengthen their mindset, and build a future they can be proud of.
From classrooms in Jamaica to communities across Southwest Florida,
ES is changing lives,
one story at a time.
but we can't do it alone. Join us, become a mentor, volunteer, donate, help us fuel the next generation of leaders, creators, and change makers.
Visit ahazink.org today, because when you help a young person share their story, you help them change their world.
So when I think about this very loaded question,
Yes, it is. It is.
I think the first thing that comes to mind is incentives,
Yeah,
right? What are we incentivizing?
right.
And so if the way that we show that a police force is successful is by the amount of people they pull over and the tickets they issue,
Right,
well, then the incentive is there,
right,
right? To
Right.
pull over as many people as possible,
right,
as well as to ticket them.
right,
And then you start to get into the social aspect of life. And it's, well, if that's the goal,
right,
then I want to go somewhere where I believe I'm going to be able to provide more tickets.
right,
And so you spend less time in areas where they're committing the same crimes
Right.
or the same challenges.
right,
And you're more incentivized to go to places where, A, the tickets aren't going to be fought,
right,
right? The tickets aren't going to be like questioned,
right,
right? Individuals are going to have to pay. And if
Right.
they don't, then there's more
right,
incentives that like charges them or takes away their license. And so
Right.
it starts to create an incentive.
Right.
I think it's a whole incentive thing. And
Right.
for me, yes, I do get nervous when I get pulled over.
yeah,
And I have been in situations where some of the most craziest things ever said to me and done to me was something that I have no rights at that point.
Right,
What am I going
right.
to fight? Because I've been taught
Right.
by my parents, like,
Yeah.
just do what they say.
yeah, yeah,
Right.
yeah,
But at some
yeah.
point, when does my own rights as a human
Right,
start?
right,
And when does it stop? And
Yeah.
I think oftentimes, look, I remember, there's an old Chappelle joke, which is so familiar to me, where I've been pulled over with my friends. I grew up in a white community.
yeah, yeah.
I've been pulled over with my friends. I watched them cuss out the police officer. Like, I'm like, what is happening right now? Like,
It's
dude,
really
let
happening.
me get out of here.
Yeah,
What are you
yeah.
doing?
Right,
Like,
right.
I want to walk away from this. Man, you're going to tell me what to do. You know who
Yeah,
my dad is?
yeah.
I don't care who your dad is.
Right.
Right. And I think that, and look,
Yeah,
and then you imagine how that gets played out over years where, right, for a large group of individuals, the police has never done anything but protected them.
right.
For another group of people, they've seen them in all situations. Right. And so
yeah.
we're just not easily
Right,
excited
right,
about the
Yeah.
arrival. Right. But,
Yeah.
but at the end of the day, I still respect them. I still
Right.
respect the work they do.
right,
Right. Because I think there is a part of that. But I think the incentives behind,
yeah.
behind a lot of things is why we have some of the challenges we have right now.
Okay. the driving force. So maybe
Yeah.
they need to address that. I like that, man. I've never even thought of, that. And I do know that that is there. And, man, I got to tell you, when I moved down here from New York, or moved back down here from New York, I had a car that was a target, man. And they were pulling me over a lot. And, I felt like I could voice my opinion to that cop, and I could say to him, because, I remember one time I knew this cop wasn't talking to me in his regular voice. Like, if, someone go in front of the glasses and I'm going to talk to, the people that pull over like this today. Like, I'm like, bro, what are you doing? Like, did you get up? Like, I don't even know what I was thinking when I did that. But I was like, did you get up today and like decide you were going to talk to someone like that? And first of all, what did you even pull me over for? Because I wasn't speeding.
No.
But it was just weird. But he ticketed me for that because he said I question his authority or what.
Right? I mean, look, the one that I always laugh about, I was in a neighborhood and I didn't know how to get out of there, right? Because it was like weaving.
Right.
Right? And I was the designated driver.
Oh, my
So
goodness.
I got two drunk people in the car with me. I'm the designated driver. And I see this cop roll through.
Right.
So I'm like, oh, great. He's probably trying to get out of here. So I just followed him.
Yeah.
And he went to a dead end and turned around. I'm like, oh, shit. So I had to go past him because he didn't get me out of there. And as soon as I went past, bloop, bloop, bloop,
Oh, my goodness. He put it on.
he pulled me over. He's like, what are you doing? I was like, yo, I didn't know how to get out of here.
Right.
And I thought you were heading out of the neighborhood.
Right.
So I thought I could at least follow you so I could figure out where to get out.
Right,
So he's like,
right.
what are you've been, did all the things he's supposed to do.
Yeah.
No, sir, I haven't been drinking. I'm the designated driver.
Right.
He gets me out of the car. He does a sobriety test.
man.
I pass the sobriety test. And then he tells the drunk person to get in the driver's seat because he's not letting me drive.
What?
And that's how I pulled out of that scene. And I'm like,
What?
are you...
Wow.
Like, and so that's the that's the challenge. Like, wait a minute, what? I just told you
Yeah.
I'm the designated driver. I just passed the sobriety test,
Wow.
but still, you don't want me driving,
Right.
and you want this person next to me.
That's crazy. Wow.
And so we literally drove out of the neighborhood, stopped at a gas station, and then I drove because the guy was like, well, I'm
yeah.
yeah,
With a lot of awareness events that has been happening, matters has been addressed because of a lot of social injustice that's been happening. You feel like for the mass, like, that, I guess, still in the media, whatever that look like, you think they've made the adjustment by now where they understand, like, what, we need to change?
I mean, can you ask me that in a different way? I'm trying to figure out.
So you think like they're making adjustment to understand a lot of the things that's been happening especially for the new generations that are out now that's saying like we look at life a different way. We are now accepting. Like even with, inclusion is this big thing.
Yeah.
And a lot of people having challenges accepting that. Where you feel we are right now?
I mean, I feel like we're in process.
Yeah.
We're in process, and there's so many things that, it's like we have to unweave to weave back again. And I think what we're seeing is a shift, right?
Yeah.
I think, and I don't understand why it's so hard for us to understand this, that there's a shift in the way that we live, work, and play.
Right.
There's a knowledge now that we understand of information,
Right.
and of representation,
Right.
that I believe is challenging the traditional ways of doing work.
Right.
Right. And if we look at it from a nature perspective, right, there's a bunch of new organisms that are coming through a network or a system. And
Right.
the younger generation is all reflecting on what they saw growing up, right?
Right,
My parents
right.
are constantly working.
Right,
They maybe lost their job.
Yeah.
They're in debt. They're
Right.
working 2 jobs. They never spend time with me.
Right,
They throw
right.
money at me. Like, why would I want to go through that?
Right, right.
Right? It's
right.
like
yeah.
you see, and I think the same generation for that.
Right.
The 70s children, the baby boomers, right?
Right.
All of them had parents that were like, yo, we're not doing that anymore.
Right, right, right.
And they disrupted the system.
Right, right.
And they're still disrupting the system.
yeah.
But now don't be upset because we have a new generation of alpha and Z's and millennials
Right.
that are saying, yo, we don't want to work this way.
Right.
We don't want to live this way.
Yeah.
We have friends that are represent all different. I mean, I think about the amount of times I heard about children with disability when I was younger
Right.
and how I saw them on show. You didn't see them.
No.
You didn't
Yeah.
see them. You didn't
Right.
see and for me as a child, I remember the first time I saw someone with a disability, I was like, what do I do?
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's that lack of representation that then
Right.
makes those individuals feel like they're not a part of something.
Right. Right.
Right.
Right.
And so I think our younger generation recognizes the way that we run our businesses
Right.
is not conducive. The way that we try to accomplish things doesn't feel right, and that's shifting and changing. And so,
Right.
just like a organism, you can either accept those diverse sort of like organisms coming into your system,
Right.
or you could say, I don't want that.
Right.
And we know in nature, if you're cutting off, like what makes nature resilient is this diversity.
I love that.
So if you're cutting some diverse systems off of out of your system, well, then that is a system that's dying.
right.
Right.
This will lead into this interesting question, as an innovator, as yourself, you feel individual that are not as privileged, that, don't necessarily get those type of funding or whatever to help them with, let's say they have that innovative mind, that they want to put something out, but they don't have that type of privilege or the people around them. You think that prevent them from stepping into what that look like?
Most certainly.
Yeah.
But I think it's not. I think the mindset around it has shifted.
Right.
I believe that the system has created a very curated, perfected success story.
Right.
And so for many of us that are out there trying to innovate and do things, we often get halfway
Right.
and then we realize it has to look a certain way.
Right.
And it's in that separation of that we lose the opportunities, right? And so
Right.
for, and I think the younger generation gets it, right?
Right.
Like, yo,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
these kids can make videos and they're making millions of dollars.
Oh, yeah.
I'm making a video.
Right.
Right? Like, I'm doing the thing.
Right.
And I'm showing up how I want. But I remember back in, at least for us, right?
Yeah.
I remember you never saw a CEO
No.
that wasn't in a tie,
That's true.
shaved,
Right. Right.
all to the T's. And if you showed up at work
Right.
without any of that,
Yeah.
then you're a bum.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so then you move into that success story
Right.
as if here's who I am.
Mm-hmm.
And I think all of us, right? I think all of us that have been leaders or own organizations,
Right.
there's a part where we realize that imposter syndrome.
Right.
And to
Right.
be successful, I have to look a certain way.
Right.
I have to dress a certain way. I have to present myself a certain way.
Right.
And so now it's when I go see speakers or leaders talk,
Yeah.
I could tell right away if they're authentic.
Right.
Because just by their natural body movement.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you trying to sell something to me? Did you re-rehearse all these lines
Right.
in this expectation
Right.
of what success looks like?
Right. Right.
Or are you really giving people what they want, which is the true story? Like just being human.
Right.
And people want to do that. And now we're seeing a generation where being human can lead to success.
Can
as
lead
well.
to success. Yeah. Because I can definitely agree with that, because I tell people a lot of times, because I have like 2 big organizations trying to get me to get on board as one of their speaker. But after seeing how a lot of their speaker function, I'm like, yo, these dudes, they're not even really authentic. They're speaking on whatever they were trained on or read up on or whatever that looked like. And then how are you effective with the people that you're trying to address? How do they relate to that? Because you don't have that story for yourself, It's But, you know, with this paradigm shift, and I think a lot of people never necessarily understood this paradigm shift that we're in right now.
Yeah.
You feel like more people now are starting to adjust to what's going on and like how innovative the world is now?
No, I don't. I don't. And the reason I say that, like,
yeah,
yes, there's innovation and people understand it,
right.
but it's like they're innovating off of something that's already useful, right? Like,
Yeah,
you know, like
yeah.
if I said like, think of a dog, the first thing you could do is think of a dog that you know,
Right.
and I'm like, think of that dog with 3 legs. You're like, okay, I'll do that.
Yeah.
Right. But they're all pulling from
yeah.
their history, right?
Right, right,
I say,
right.
yo, draw a 5-legged dog.
Yeah.
They gotta be like, oh, wait, well, where do okay, does it have a dog body?
Right.
Maybe that, like, and I think what we're seeing now,
Yeah.
and from my experience in the work that I do, right, is a lot of this organizational trauma,
Right.
where, and our kids are going through it in school, right, where I've never been given the ability to freely explore my ideas,
Right.
because I'm pushing towards a grade or a
Yeah.
score or a, you know,
Right.
and in organizations we're pushing for a product or a service,
Right.
and when I'm in those spaces, I find that I'm trying to figure out from organizations or leaders, like, their innovation process, and it is
Right.
typically like, make more phone calls,
Right.
or get AI,
Yeah.
or da-da-da. And it's like, you have a wealth of knowledge in your organization from your people.
Right.
And if they just feel seen and heard and given the opportunity, they're most likely going to create innovative ways for your organization to survive,
Right.
if you give them the chance.
Right.
But
right.
if they don't give the chance, then they're just a worker.
Right.
Right. And it's the
Yeah.
same with our students. Like,
Right.
in the education system, yes, you have to learn this stuff. But now we have ChatGPT and AI, and like, oh,
Right.
remove that. Don't let the kids have that. Like, this is a tool that then allows them to expand their
Right.
mind into
Right.
new ways. And so, and it's challenging because, once again, the paradigm shift,
Right,
right? Like,
right,
well, how do
right.
I grade this, and how do I do this? And
Right.
as a teacher, I don't want to, I don't want to change my ways because I've been doing it for so long. And so,
Right.
I'm finding that a lot of our limits come from,
The different product of environments.
well, the conditions that we create,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
and we do it all the time.
What's your favorite meal?
My favorite meal, man.
You sound like you have a few.
Yeah. I'm a tourist, right? I love.
You explore.
Yeah.
You-
Yeah. Give me, ooh, but I think my favorite meal would have to be something around sushi.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Because of the potential of all the things that it could be,
Right.
right? Like, I love pizza, I love all these other things, I love barbecue, right? Steaks and all that, but I don't leave there feeling hopeful when I
Right.
eat those. I leave there full, ready for a nap.
Right.
But sushi is one of those things that it feels that it's like healing me as I'm eating as well.
Wow. Lenny Kravitz, Prince.
I mean, everybody knows that Prince is the man, but man,
Right.
Lenny Kravitz, when I was younger,
Yeah.
that brother, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Like I said, I grew up in Indiana, farmland. So
Right.
this brother like represented like the acceptance of all, right? He was a rock
definitely.
star.
Definitely.
The women thought he was good looking. I wanted
Oh,
to grow
yeah.
my hair out like him, dude. I was like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh my goodness. If you had to choose between these two actors to go see their movie that's happening at the same time, Denzel Washington, Will Smith,
Denzel Washington.
without a question.
Yeah, just because there's I love Will Smith too, but there's a deepness in Denzel Washington's acting.
Yeah,
Right?
I
There's
can
a
agree with that.
deepness, meaning that like he's not just like he's embodying.
Yeah.
And not that Will can't do that, but I mean, man, you take Denzel from Ricochet when he was like
Oh yeah.
some years
Oh
old,
yeah. Oh
dude,
yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
all the way up to like his latest stuff. He's really good. He's
It's
really
huge.
good.
It's
I would pick
huge, man.
Denzel.
Let me ask you, man, because we're in the final segment of the show right now.
Already, I love that. I made it. I guess this is when the hard questions come out, right?
When you saw your lady that you married to now as your wife, who made the first move?
Oh, I did, and rejected.
What? You got rejected?
Yeah, dude, yeah.
What?
Yeah. And just like an athlete, put my mind to it.
How'd you feel?
Yeah. I felt good.
Yeah?
Yeah, I felt good
Because you felt like there was hope.
Yeah, well, it was one of those where it's exactly what I needed.
Okay. You needed to be humbled.
Yeah, because the smile, like you said,
Right.
it's a beacon.
Yeah.
And so when I met her,
Yeah.
it was like she's like, "Oh, this." I'm not putting up with all this. You can tell.
Wow.
And then it was hilarious because she was a big traveler. She traveled the world and everything. And
Yeah.
And so the second time I got to meet her, I was like, all right, there's a chance. Whatever it takes, man. I gotta get a number. I get over there. And she's like, oh, I love to travel. I'm like, oh yeah, me too. I travel all the time. I've been like South Padre.
Yeah.
This was the only traveling I've done. Yeah, I love it. Oh, where? Budapest? Oh, beautiful. Where's that? Oh, yeah. But I think there was something really connected to our courtship.
Okay.
That felt different.
Yeah.
That felt iconic, that felt like historical. Like there was just something that I think both of us couldn't sort of wrap our head around because she was single for like we didn't get married till I was like 30, 34 and she was like 32. So like,
wow.
We had our fun, we did our things, right?
Yeah.
It was like I know what I'm looking for. And so I think for both of us it was that companionship and the deep, meaningful conversations and the jealousy was gone, and the like all these other things because we knew what we wanted for ourselves,
right?
And nobody was trying to control the other person, so it felt like a really beautiful connection.
I love that. Introvert, extrovert. Who you feel have the best chance to become their best self as a visionary?
Who has their best chance? I think it's. I mean, if I look at it from the perspective of how I feel, it's going to be the person that is, understands which one they are,
okay,
and leans into it.
I like
right because
like that.
It's easy to say because I'm extroverted,
right?
But I know that oftentimes there's glaring errors in things because I'm just like. I'm a magician. I'm like, I can get us from here to there. Let's go.
Right.
Someone's like, hey, we're taking this water with us? Introvert, right?
Yeah.
But water, we don't need water. I'll coach you all the way through the water.
You're paying attention to detail.
Yeah. I'll get us there, right? And so I think all of them, and I think, look, that's the biggest point. I think that's the biggest takeaway.
Yeah.
Of everything that's happening.
Yeah.
We're all deeply connected and intertwined, right? And my happiness comes from your happiness. Right. Because the way you show up changes everything. And that, and that's where I think I get my innovation spirit and my possibilities that I have a true belief that every single moment can shift the world. Yeah. And so this one conversation that you and I have could spark something globally. It can shift the way people think. Right. And so I go into every single interaction being present and understanding that like if I listen, something may come out of this that may help me on my journey that I'm on.
Right. I love that. So, going out right now, because we're in our outro right now,
Okay.
I would love for you to just kind of bless the listeners and the viewers with your thoughts on the structure we're in now and them understanding the importance of paying attention to detail in what that look like with whether it's their community, society.
Yeah. I was talking to somebody the other day and we talked about Michael Jackson's Man in the Mirror.
Right.
And I think that's a good way to simply explain my thoughts, right? That what I've noticed is that for a lot of us, we're overworked, we're overwhelmed, we're tired.
Right.
We're trying to make something happen if it's for our family or for our community.
Mm-hmm.
But it's hard to like keep that up and holding that for a long period of time.
Right.
And this, like I said earlier, this idea of busyness is a badge of courage. I would say my reflection on where we're at right now doesn't matter if you don't consider where you're at.
Right.
Right. It's taking care of yourself.
Yes.
Showing up for yourself.
Yeah.
Right. Healing yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all you have to do.
Right.
And I think, which could be challenging because I think it's levels because so many people want to help their community.
Right.
But oftentimes they're broken.
Yeah.
And people see that.
Right.
It's like, I've been doing some work over the last couple of years in the global health sector.
Right.
And I would always start the first slide with, isn't it ironic that public health professionals don't come with healthy work environments? Man. And it's like your job, the thing you signed up for, the thing you cared about most is that you wanted to help people.
Right.
But in your current work, you were stressed out, frustrated, angry. And so you have no capacity to show up for others. Right. And I'm noticing this stress in all of our systems, financial, educational, right, work, business, the world, like our world is stressed. Like we're all stressed in this like busyness of like, we have to do more to be more. Yeah. And I think for me, what I learned in my story is that I can simplify. Right. And when I simplify, I have the ability to adapt, to adjust, to respond instead of react. And in the work that I do, in the place I go, I start with them just like stopping. Yeah. Wow. And I think that's huge. And so I would say if you want to help your community, help yourself first. You want to help this group, start with yourself, because the more you heal, the more you're able to show up for others. I love that right there, man. How can people find you? You can find me on Instagram under Jet Set State. Okay. My website, Jet Set State. I'm on LinkedIn under Teeters Jason. And reach out, connect. I love having conversations. I love working with people that are trying to do big shifts in the future of work. Beautiful. Hey, man, it was amazing having you on the show. It's such a pleasure, man. Yeah, man, this was a beautiful conversation, man. It's like we don't even have enough time. There's so much more we wanted to tap into, but hey, man, we're going to have to do this again, man. Yeah, and look, that's the whole point of all this, right? Like, we are going to know each other for the rest of our lives. That's it. So man. Keep it going and come back, circle the earth and come back together. Listen, guys, there you have it. Another decorative guest right here in the EOS Club until our next episode where we have another decorative guest. Not like Jason, but close. Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in and downloading this episode of Stories to Create. We appreciate you being part of this growing community of storytellers and listeners. If today's conversation inspired you, please share the show with friends, family, or anyone who could use a little motivation in their journey. A special thank you to our sponsors, EHAS Organization, Cornell Bunting LLC, and Nostril Cheese Chase. for supporting the mission and making this podcast possible. To learn more about our work, upcoming projects, and how you can get involved, be sure to visit www.cornellbunting.com. Until next time, keep creating, keep growing, and remember, your story has power.